I'm about to show you a single sentence. I want you to pay very close attention.
明日会社行った? This sentence, it's wrong. But the problem here isn't that it's wrong. That's a shallow analysis. The real problem is why. It's a complete failure of communication.
You see, when a native Japanese speaker hears this, their brain immediately tries to fix it. It's an automatic process. It starts plugging in particles, it double-checks the tense, it assumes you're asking a question, but then it hits a wall. It can't lock in a single definitive meaning, and the result is simply, I don't understand. You're not communicating. You're just making noise. Let's be perfectly clear about something. The reason your Japanese isn't landing, the reason you're not being understood, it rarely has anything to do with your accent or how many words you know. The root cause is almost always your grammar, and today we're going to dissect that structural problem piece by painful piece. To really grasp why this Japanese sentence just completely falls apart, we're first going to look at how a similar mistake would play out in English. The contrast between the two is going to reveal everything you've been missing. So in English, the equivalent would be something like, tomorrow you went to work? Yeah, it's grammatically incorrect, obviously. But here's the thing. Any native English speaker is going to know exactly what you mean, almost instantly. And why is it so easy to fix in English? It's simple. The word tomorrow comes right at the start. It immediately locks the entire sentence into a future time frame. So the second the listener hears went, a past tense verb, a red flag goes up. They know, that's the mistake. There's only one point of failure, and it's easy to correct. Change went to will go, or are you going? That's because English is a front-loaded language. The direction is set at the beginning. Now, let's go back to the Japanese. Ashita kaisha itta. This is what's happening inside a native speaker's head. It's chaos. Ashita, okay, future. Itta, wait, that's past? Or is it a completed action? Kaisha, is that the subject, the object, the location? Suddenly, all these different possibilities are fighting each other. Future versus past, subject versus object. The whole thing just fractures. No single interpretation can win. And this happens because Japanese is a back-loaded language. All the important information, the verb, the crucial particles that define relationships, it all comes at the end. And when those final pieces are missing or wrong, the entire structure collapses. As you're about to see, this is where your communication dies. So let's move on to the first critical point of failure, particles. You've been treating them like vocabulary words you just memorize. You are wrong. You need to understand this right now. Particles don't have meanings in the way a noun or a verb does. They are steering devices. They are precision tools that lock the sentence onto a single, unchangeable path. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, let's plug in the particle ni. Ashita kaisha ni itta. The particle ni marks the destination. It confirms with 100% certainty that the company is the goal. Instantly, the structure becomes stable. Now, the only problem left is the simple time conflict between tomorrow and went. But the core meaning, it's been saved. Now watch what happens when we use de instead. Ashita kaisha de itta? The particle de marks the location of an action. And right here, the native brain just freezes. An action? At the company? What action? Where did you go from the company? All of a sudden, we have a fatal structural problem that's way more serious than just a tense mix-up. And finally, let's try wo. Ashita kaisha wo itta? The particle wo marks a direct object. But the verb iku, to go, doesn't take a direct object. It's an intransitive verb. So now the listener's brain has to throw out all normal interpretations and try to figure out what on earth you could possibly mean. Are you trying to be poetic? Did you pass through the company? The simple conversation is now a literary puzzle. That is the power of particles. And I know exactly what you're thinking. But wait, native speakers drop particles all the time. Yes, they do, and you are not a native speaker. Let's break down why this is a fatal trap that you keep walking into. Listen. A native speaker can get away with omitting a particle because every other element in their sentence is surgically precise. The verb forms are perfect, the context is clear, the structure is solid, so the brain can easily fill in the one missing piece. But your sentences? You omit the particle, and your verb choice is ambiguous, and your understanding of tense is wrong. You're causing multiple system failures all at once. It's a cascade of errors, and the native brain simply cannot compute that level of chaos. That is why you're not being understood. All right, on to the second critical error. This is a misunderstanding so deep, so fundamental, that it's poisoning almost every single sentence you try to build. You are taught that the ta form of a Japanese verb means past tense. That is a lie. It is a grave misunderstanding that you must burn from your memory starting right now. The core conflict in Japanese verbs is not future versus past. That's you trying to force English logic onto a system where it doesn't belong. The true duality is much simpler. Uncompleted versus completed. The system is built on aspect, not tense. Don't believe me? Look at the evidence. 明日行ったことにする. This means, I'll decide that I went tomorrow. You're talking about the future, but you're treating the action as complete. Or how about, 今帰ったところ? I just got home. It's happening right now, in the present, but you use the ta form because the action of arriving is now complete. And, 雨が降ったら行きます. If it rains, I will go. This is a future condition. But for the condition to be met, the raining has to be treated as a completed event. It's not past tense, it's completed aspect. You have to shift your entire way of thinking. English is a time management language. It's obsessed with tense, when something happened. Japanese is a status management language. It only cares about aspect. Is the action finished or not? So, let's put it all together. Here is the final analysis and the only path forward for you if you're serious about this. Here it is. English locks in the direction of a sentence early on using time. Japanese locks in the direction of a sentence at the very end, using particles and aspect. So if your particles are wrong and your understanding of aspect is shaky, your sentences have no direction. And a sentence with no direction has no meaning. It's not a misunderstanding, it's a non-starter, period. So if you want to fix this, here are your orders. 1. You will respect particles. Stop treating them like an afterthought. 2. You will stop omitting them. You have not earned that right. 3. You will go back and relearn the true function of the ta form until you understand aspect in your sleep. And 4. You will stabilize your grammatical structure before you learn another vocabulary word. You have to understand that conversation is not about improvisation or having good energy. It is about having a solid, predictable structure. Building that structure is the only path to real fluency. Everything else is a waste of your time. Now get to work.